Yo, brother, it's time for us to start talking the real, man. We've been sugarcoating too much. We've got to start calling everything out for what it is.
Hi guys, welcome back to another in my series of V14 adventure repair videos. Last time you saw me, I was just about to head out to ABS, the Apple Valley Speedway races. And I had hoped to take the V14, but because I had recently received a new control board, I installed it, and I'm still having the same problem. It's still indicating a hall sensor error. I've been continually in contact with Inmotion, so they have new troubleshooting steps. I feel that they are very hesitant to come to the conclusion that a new motor is needed, that a hall sensor failure is actually due to a hall sensor failure, not something related. So what they want to have me do now is use my meter. Now I did this test before. I kind of did a variation of this test where I basically probed into the end of the connector, the hall sensor cable that goes into the motor. But at that point, the board was dead. So the test was, in hindsight, not a very sophisticated test. But now that the control board is working and there's power being supplied to the hall sensors, they're having me do another test. And this test, I'm going to be measuring the voltage across the hall sensor. And there's 3 leads involved. They sent me a video on how to do it. I'm going to do it. And apparently the test is I should be seeing about 3 volts. And as I move the tire, I should see a variation in that voltage somewhere between 0 and 3 volts. And all 3 leads. So bring the camera in and show you that. Okay, hopefully you're going to be able to see this. The video isn't 4K, so some resolution's there. Set the meter. Plug the black into black. And then I'm going to do the blue wire first. And then turn on the wheel, and I have about 30 seconds before the wheel turns off again. Okay, get the green light. Put this in the blue. It's changing, but it's pretty sporadic. And then let's see. I see 30 millivolts. And wait for this to turn off. Turned off. Voltage goes away. So now I'm going to try the green. Turn the wheel on. Bumps up to 174 millivolts. Pretty sporadic, but again, much less than 1 volt max. See, wait for that to turn off. There you go. Voltage goes down. And now the yellow wire. And the wheel on. So now I got 3.35 volts, which is supposed to be what I get. Turn the wheel, it's pretty sporadic. So that's it. I think the hall sensor sure seems like it's bad, because only one of the wires is giving some kind of an input, but it's not quite as smooth as the video that Inmotion sent to me. Okay, well, seems to me that based on what instructions they provided me and the anticipated readings, that there are issues with the hall sensor on this motor, and it just makes sense. I replace the control board, I get the identical error. And by the way, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the previous video, but I did learn that they have updated the firmware to be, I don't know if it's less susceptible or not susceptible at all to sporadic Hall sensor inputs, meaning that if error were to occur in other future wheels, that the control board at least wouldn't blow. Still might have to get a new motor. At least you wouldn't have to get a new motor and a control board. So that's a good thing. All right, so I'm going to give this information to Inmotion and try and strongly encourage them to send me a new motor so I can get this thing working. I really would like to be able to test this wheel sometime in 2023. I can't imagine there's anything else to test. You know, I've always said these wheels fundamentally are simple. The control board, yes, very sophisticated, but in terms of components in a wheel, you've got the batteries, you have the control board, you have a motor, and then you have ancillary mechanics, right? But fundamentally pretty simple to work on. The control board fails. Usually the motor fails much less often. Motors are really reliable. So like this problem is very unusual from my experience. And I would anticipate it to be very unusual on most V14s. So if anything good came out of this whole experience is they've updated the firmware to being less susceptible to damage from bad Hall sensor. All right, enough talking. In the same video, I'll get back to you. It might be a few days from now, but be like this your time and let you know what's happening next.
Well, future self here, about 10 days since you saw me a few seconds ago, and I'm preparing to send the V14 back to Inmotion, which is really a rare occurrence. Matter of fact, over all the years that I've been involved in this industry, I think this may be the very first time that a broken EUC has been sent back to China for investigation. Usually I'm sure it's fundamentally cost reason, and then usually there's not really a reason to send a wheel back. I get the impression that it's more expensive to send to fly a wheel back to China than it is to fly a wheel from China here, probably just because of logistics, and much more product goes from China to here, so it's cheaper. Anyway, I actually take that as a very positive sign that Inmotion really wants to understand what's wrong with the motor. They haven't directly told me that it's the motor, but it's not the control board. I feel very confident. The cabling, it's not the cabling, based on that test I just did by moving the wheel and seeing the Hall sensor signals or lack of signals. So I will follow up with them. Hopefully they'll be able to tell me that yes, we opened up the motor and we found this. And I'm sure they want to know if it's a one-off or potentially a manufacturing issue that they need to be concerned about other wheels. Though as far as I know, all the other V14s out there, at least from an electrical perspective, are still functioning fine. So they asked me to remove the battery packs. I'm going to put the wheel in the box. I have UPS coming to pick it up this afternoon, and they are sending me a new V14, I think next week. Today's December 1st. So yeah, I might be able to get my testing done before Christmas, or right. I'm definitely going to have a new one over the holidays, it looks like. I thought I would bring you in and just show you the process of at least taking out the batteries, and maybe we can see a little bit more about the suspension mechanism while the batteries are off. And these side pads are double-sided, taped to the battery packs. This is the one problem with using double-sided tape. To remove whatever's stuck to it, especially a big panel like this with all the surface area. I'm using a putty knife. Well, at least it didn't break. It bent, whatever material this is. It doesn't keep its rigidity, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about cleaning this up since I think I'm going to be sending these back to E-Wheels. Jason can use these as a spare set. Wow, these pedal hangers are really secured. That's interesting. So the pedal hanger constrains the spring they have in here. Now I wonder if is this the actual spring that's in this this? Well, I got to remember this is not a hydraulic shock, but looks pretty lightweight, whatever its purpose is, but I have a feeling it is associated with this stanchion. Remove the front bumper and the kickstand. Battery packs are secured, each pack with 4 bolts. These are 4mm screws. They're coming out pretty easy. That's it. The batteries are removed and I put the pedal back on this side of the wheel. I just wanted to show you a little bit more about this pedal. So you might recall that I did add a shim. This is the only adjustment for the pedal angle that you have. They give you one shim. I think you could put some more metal in there to provide adjustability. And for tension, there's a cone-shaped set screw which applies pressure against the pedal rod, and that's what gives you the stiffness. But I have tried to actually remove the pedal rod. It does not budge. And looking in here, this does not press directly up against the shaft. It's pressing up against something else, probably something nylon that's that gives this tension, but I don't know how that was inserted. I have a feeling that needs to come out to allow this pedal rod to come out. And I don't know if Inmotion has designed this to be so you can replace the pedals, or if you need new pedals, you're going to have to replace this whole mechanism. I don't know. I'm not going to spend any more time trying to. I definitely can't pound them out, so I think I'd break something. I have to reach out to Inmotion to find out how you're supposed to be able to remove this pedal. So let me flip the wheel over and show you a more naked view of the wheel. All right, a little bit about how the pedals actually are secured. There's a bolt here that fits into a hole on the bottom of the stanchion tube. This larger hole matches the larger bolt on the pedal hanger. So this fits in like that, and then when you put this on, and then you put the 4 bolts in, that tightens everything, basically clamps it to this tube. So all the weight of your body, jumps, everything is dependent on the shear strength of these one small bolt and one large bolt. And I have no idea if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just pointing out that is how it's secured. And of course, there's also a bit of support provided by the battery cases, but hopefully not much, because you wouldn't want the battery cases to be under this tension of being pulled apart, the top and the bottom all the time. All right, so that's interesting. These springs, by the way, have nothing to do with the suspension. They're just for the trolley handle. So that's good. Now to get to this stage, I did have to remove the tension on the spring, and I did that by removing the one bolt at the back of the linkage. Now, this is my perspective on how I would change a tire on this wheel. You're going to have to remove all 4 battery packs, because the battery packs cover these bolts that attach the stanchions to the motor. So you're going to have to remove obviously the side panels that have your power pads. You're going to have to remove those. That'll be a pain in the butt. Then you're going to have to remove the kickstand and the front support, the front bumper and the battery packs. Remove those. Then you're going to have to remove 4 bolts per battery pack. Obviously disconnect the battery packs up here. Though I suppose technically you don't have to, but it's so easy now with these connectors. I would just physically remove the batteries. Remove the 4 bolts, and I've loosened them. They were tight, but not like extremely tight. Remove those. Then on the motor, the phase wire side, loosen up these so you can take the orange cable and loosen it, and then this wheel can slide out and you can work on it and change the tire. So it's a bit of work. My sense is more work than like something like the Master, which is super easy to change. You don't have to remove all the battery packs on that wheel to do it. I don't think so. But anyway, that's it. That's the basis for the tire change, and then put everything back together. It's just a little puzzle. One other item to show you before I put this in the box is this bridge on the bottom, right above the wheel, that holds the mudguard. Looks like a very big chunk of metal. So that connects here, and then of course up at the top. It's also connected to this chunk of metal. So looks like good support for the stanchions. Well, the wheel is ready to be put in the box and shipped off to China. I think this will be the last video in my V14 repair series, since the next video you see from me regarding the Inmotion V14 will be when I get the replacement one, and hopefully there'll be zero problems with that. And I'll be sure to let you know in subsequent videos what I find out from Inmotion in terms of when they get the wheel back, and what, if anything, they find out regarding the failure. They have to find out something, because unlike a failure like the A2, which broke my ankle, yet the wheel continues to work to this day, this is a hard failure, so it should be very easy for them to isolate the cause. So I'll let you know what I find out. All right, guys, hope you found this video useful, and until next time, safe riding.